Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is the first time here on the channel. In today's video I'll be sharing with us how to cut and sew a mermaid skirt with a cut together train at the back using only 3 yards of Ankara fabric. So if you're interested in learning how I created this using only 3 yards of Ankara fabric, keep on watching and let us head straight into this tutorial. So for this project, I am going to be making use of this beautiful African print fabric, aka Ankara. Okay, and I have 3 yards here, just like I stated in the title of this video and also in my introduction. Right here I have my fabric folded for the front part of this skirt, and the amount of fabric that I folded in is 19.5 inches, and this is on fold. Okay, 19.5 inches. And to know the volume of fabric you are to use for your front, you're going to divide your hip measurement by 4 and add extra 10 inches to that. You can add more, but remember that we are working with 3 yards of fabric. I hope this is clear. So this is just me ruling out a line at the top. This is going to serve as my starting line, and that allowance at the top will just be the allowance to sew this my skirt. Okay, and now from this line that I ruled out, my starting line, I'm going to mark the distance from my waist to my hips, which is 11 inches. I'm going to mark it on the other side to get a straight line. So I'm going to rule this line out and I'll label this my hip line. Next, I'm going to mark the distance from my starting line, which is my waistline, to above my knee measurement, which is 22 inches for me. So I'm going to also mark it on the other side and rule out a straight line. Next, I am going to go to my waistline and I'm going to be imputing my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7 inches in my case, plus 3 inches for seam allowance. I won't be adding any dart allowance to this because this is a dartless skirt. And for the hip, I'm going to divide my hip measurement divided by 4 plus extra 3 inches for seam allowance. And now moving to above my knee measurement line. Okay, I am going to take what I have on my hip. Okay, my hip measurement is 9.5 and I am going to be subtracting 2 inches from that. Okay, so you can subtract 1.5 inches from that. It depends on how tapered down you want this on your body, how fitted you want it. And now I'm going to be marking my 3 inches for seam allowance, and now I'm going to be connecting these lines using the help of my curved ruler and my straight ruler. After connecting these points, the next thing I'm going to do is create our mermaid shape or our A-line shape. With the help of my straight ruler, I'm going to be connecting this down to the tip of my fabric. Okay, remember that 19.5 inches that we folded our fabric by. Okay, so after connecting that, can you see what it looks like? And the next thing I did was to grab my scissors and use it to cut this out. This Ankara is by 46 inches, so for the length of my skirt I use the entire 46 inches length. And now finally what I'm going to do is measure out what I have from here to here, and I have about 23.5 inches, but at the side I have way more than that, so I'm going to be marking that 23.5 inches there and then connect it towards the center front. Okay, this is crucial to help eliminate the pointy ends at the sides, because if you don't do this and you just sew it down like that, we are going to be having some sharp corners at the sides. And we are done with the front part of this skirt, and now we are going to be moving to the floor to cut the back part of this skirt. So I have above 1.5 yards of fabric left, and I am going to be folding this my fabric in a slanted way. It's going to look like I'm trying to fold it in a triangular form, but not completely in a triangular form. Can you see that? It looks like an A. I don't know, just watch carefully and you're going to see how I arranged this my fabric on the floor. So guys, after arranging your fabric, you should have something that looks like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is bring the front part of our skirt and place it onto this back that I just arranged. And this is me just trying to align this my fabric very well. Okay, I'm trying to maximize fabric because we are faced with a fabric constraint. And right here you're going to see that I have some space. Okay, from the center back right now I have over 5 inches space that we are going to be managing, and at the end of this my fabric I have extra 10 inches space, and I'm going to be creating a curve from the side of this my skirt to meet that 10 inches mark. I hope this is all clear. Please just take your time to watch this. So if you want more train on the floor, you can use 11-12 inches as long as your fabric can carry. And so right now what I'm going to do now is extend this line on my knee, this is my above knee line, and also my hip line. And the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to be adding my zipper allowance. Now for the waistline on the waist, I'm not going to be adding any zipper allowance right there, okay? I'm going to be eliminating the zipper allowance totally. And now on the hip line, I'm going to be marking 1 inch for zipper allowance. Okay, can you see what I did? I did not mark anything on the waist, but I marked 1 inch on the hip line. Now this 1 inch zipper allowance that I eliminated on the waist there, I'm going to be marking it at the side of my waist. Instead of marking 1 inch zipper allowance at the center back of my skirt, I marked it on the side of my skirt. So just like I removed that from the center back of the skirt and now replaced it at the side of the skirt. I hope this makes sense. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to be connecting these points. I'm going to be connecting that 1 inch that extended at the side towards the hip line like this. And now I am going to be connecting the 1 inch that extended on the hip line towards my waistline. I hope this makes sense, okay? And now coming to the above knee line, I'm going to be marking half an inch on both sides. Now on the center back I marked half an inch, and on the side I marked half an inch, and that's like a total of 1 inch. So in all these things that we are doing, we still have our 1 inch zipper allowance intact. It's just that we constructed it differently. And now from this mark I am just going to be rolling a slanted line to meet the end of this my side, and also I'm going to be rolling out a slanted line to meet this other end, and I'm going to grab my scissors and cut this. So guys, if there's anything you do not understand here, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. However, you can add darts to this your skirt. So if you don't want to make it a dartless skirt, you can add darts to this your skirt. However, I have a very detailed tutorial on my channel on how to cut a dartless pencil skirt, and that should help us a great deal. I'm going to be dropping a link in the description box. After cutting, this is what we have, guys. I'm going to be transferring this to the table to see if I can make more explanations. So right here is the center back and this is the side. Okay, as you can see, there is no zipper allowance on the center back. I transferred that 1 inch for zipper allowance to the side, but for the hip line we have our 1 inch zipper allowance right there at the center back, but you know, at the side there is no allowance since it's already there on the center back. And then for above the knee line, instead of marking 1 inch right here, I splitted that 1 inch into 2 and I marked half an inch on both sides, and then I just connected everything straight down like that. I hope this makes sense. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section for me. And can you see our tail extension? Yeah, I know it's not much because it's 3 yards, but then it's something. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is mark out 1 inch here at the center back and make a notch to indicate that that is my center back, because right now both the zipper side and the side of this skirt is curved. Okay, so if you don't do that, you may get confused when you're sewing. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut out lining pieces for each pieces of this my skirts, and right here, this is it. I have my lining pieces for each pieces of this my skirt. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and I'm going to be placing the lining onto the fabric. Okay, make sure that the lining is on the right side of your fabric. Place the lining on the right side of your fabric and now align it properly. Take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to be stitching close each sides of this my skirt pieces. I'm going to be using half an inch to stitch it close. So I'm going to do the same thing for the front and back pieces, and this is what it looks like. I even went ahead to notch the curved parts. All right, and next I'm going to be flipping everything inside out, give it a proper press, and guys, this is what it looks like. So these are the back pieces. I did the same thing for the front pieces. So the next thing that I am going to do is I'm going to be aligning the two back pieces. Okay, can you see that? Right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be taking it to my machine, and I'll go ahead and stitch it down using about half of an inch. The part that I am sewing down by half an inch is the center part of this my skirt where the zipper is supposed to sit. You can decide to pin it down if you don't want to stitch it down, because later on we'll be opening this to add a zipper to the center part of this our skirt. So after stitching this down, guys, this is what I have right here. And next I'm going to just open this up like this, and I'm going to be bringing the front part of this skirt and I'll place it onto the back, right sides facing each other, align it properly, and I am going to be pinning this down. Okay, so I'm going to pin everything down properly. After pinning this down, I am going to go ahead and shape this my skirt. And in order to shape this my skirt, I am going to be placing my tape on the center part of this my skirt. You can see that crease line there, that's the center part of my skirt, and I'll be marking a quarter of my waist measurement. All right, there, which is 7 inches for me. And next I'm going to come down by I think 11 inches, okay, which is the distance from my waist to my hip, and I'm going to be marking my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 9.5 inches. And from there I am going to be coming down by 22 inches, which is my above the knee measurement, and I am going to subtract 2 inches from what I have on my knee, and I'll be marking it there. And now from there I'm going to be connecting these points using the help of my curved ruler and my straight ruler. And finally I am going to be using my straight ruler to connect this all the way down to the end of my fabric. Okay, I used about 1 inch at the end of this my skirt, so I'm going to repeat the same marking on the other part of this my skirt, and I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it down. Finally, go ahead and add your waistband and your zipper to this if it is just a skirt that you're creating, but I won't be doing that because I actually made this into a dress. But this is what it looks like on my mannequin. Please ignore I hadn't ironed this dress at this point. I added a black lace material at the hem of this my skirt to make up for the length, because we all know that Ankara fabrics are not usually longer than 45 or 46 inches. But this is what it looks like on my client. She really loved her dress, and this is the only back view that I could get, but it was given. So guys, we've come to the end of today's tutorial, and if this video was helpful at all, go ahead and give this video a like so that more people can get to see it. Drop your questions, your thoughts, your suggestions in the comment section, and please, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye guys.